Hello and welcome back to Driving Britain. Today's video is about an American who's reacting to lesser known things known about England from a foreigner's perspective. Let's get straight into it.
Lesser known, deep, dark secrets. What are you hiding? England. What are you hiding? No, but seriously, from a foreigner's point of view, every nation has this, right? People who live in a certain place their entire life, they have stuff about them that they don't even realize is like very much indicative of where they live. It's a cultural thing.
Every culture has their own quirks.
Like me or someone else goes and visits England, they can immediately identify all these things that are like culture shock, different, lesser known, that are
yeah, we've probably got a few of those.
Pretty fascinating to learn about, especially from an American point of view. I've never been to England. I don't know what's going on over there, so I really do enjoy these.
Brits, let's hope it is fascinating and not just critical.
Things about England.
Basically, I wanted to share some maybe like lesser known things. So if you are not British, these are things you probably didn't know about England. And if you are British, these are things that you might not realize other countries don't do.
Right.
Either way, they're just my observations. Please, Lord, don't get offended.
Most things.
There is always somebody who gets offended.
Oh, yes. That's a good sign. If it's going to offend somebody, that means this is good stuff. It's going to be interesting.
And again, I am Canadian living in the southeast of England, so these observations are from there. I'm not saying all of the UK is the same. Can't speak for everybody else, but these are just some things that I've noticed.
Okay,
I think those are all the disclaimers.
Yeah.
I hope.
Man, what are we about to learn here that needs a lot of disclaimers?
Hey, the haters are going to put hate in the comments regardless. It doesn't matter how much you put disclaimers.
In my mind, I sort of imagine I'm just going to do this like rapid fire. We're not going to talk about it too much because then I'll just keep talking and then I won't stop talking and then this video will be like a million years long. Most things in England tend to use 24-hour time. So like bus timetables, train timetables. My calendar at work defaults to 24-hour time.
You know, I understand 24-hour time, and in the United States, it's sort of called military time because the military uses it in the US for some reason. But I am not quick at converting 24-hour time to normal time. Normal for me, anyway. So yeah, this would be like different, but you get used to this.
Military time's called military time in the UK as well, but it's because it was originally used by the military. But an easy way to work it is, say if you want, say if it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you want to know the 24-hour time, just add 2, 4, 5, 6, so it's 1600. Or, you know, when you get up to your 20s and your 22s and stuff, then it might get a bit more difficult, but generally just add 2 and it will be easy. But I think that other than on timetables, then you won't really see 24-hour clock in the UK anyway, because there's quite a lot of people that don't easily know how to work it out.
To this sort of thing really quickly.
But nobody says 24 hours. So the meeting might say 1600, but then your boss will say, remember that meeting at 4 o'clock? Don't forget.
What? Oh. Well, that's
weird. You wouldn't generally speak
that's
about
like
unless
such
you
a tiny little minute detail you would never ever
do something
pick up
in the
on,
military. You wouldn't
unless you were a foreigner in England, or maybe English people are aware of this. It's on your computer or your phone, the clocks that automatically update. That's 24-hour time, but
if you looked at a bus timetable and it said that the bus was due at 1700 hours, then you know that means 5 o'clock. So you'd read it, and if you're there with a mate and they say, oh, when's the bus due, you'd read it as 1700 hours, and you say, oh, about 5-ish. You wouldn't say 1700, you would say 5. So you'd read it, you'd know what it meant, and you might even use it, especially if you're working nights or something, so you keep your room dark all the time and you rely on your clock to know whether it's day or night, then you might do it because you want to know specifically whether it's AM, PM. You're not going to trust the little lighting up PM, then you might, but otherwise you're just not going to. If anybody is asking you about it, you're going to just say 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock and so on.
Then you speak aloud in like conventional time? What is the reasoning?
It's like this split
Because a
between,
lot of people don't understand
you see 24 hours and you hear 12 hours. I mean, even the clock in my kitchen, like on the oven, is 24 hours.
Huh.
And that doesn't come natural to me, so sometimes I look at it and I it takes a minute.
Okay.
Math is not my strong suit. Also, I say math, but in England it's maths.
Yeah, because it's a plural.
So maths is not my strong suit.
You don't do one sum, you do many sums. Well, you might do one sum.
Was this supposed to be one of the like major talking points? Because that's almost more amusing to me than the 24-hour time. Maths. Saying the maths is a joke in the United States. That's like if you're trying to be funny. You'd be like, oh, I'm really good at the maths, because maths is not a word. So you sound silly saying it, yet you're saying you're good at it. I don't know. I bet that's actually hard to understand. If math...
We just say maths because it's plural. If you're going to go into a lesson or lecture to study maths, then you're not going to do one sum, you're going to do multiple things. So it's a plural. That's why there's an S on it in British English.
Math is a real
Whereas
word.
I like to say the correct way.
Maybe it's impossible to really
There goes all my
convey
followers.
the hilariousness of my joke, but I'll leave it at that.
The more you know.
That's right, we laugh when you say
I've mentioned this
math.
before, there's no power outlets in the bathroom.
Why would you need a power outlet? It's not like you're going to make yourself some toast when you're in the bathroom. You go in there to either go to the toilet or to have a wash or a shower. You're not going to sit there watching TV. Well, you might want to sit there watching TV, but generally we have other rooms for that. Well, why would you need power? I know that maybe a shower output would have that, but that's usually an isolated socket, because you get moisture in the bathroom, and electricity and water tend not to mix that well. That's what we don't.
It really annoys me. I know everybody's always like, it's a safety hazard. Why would you want power in a bathroom?
Before she even gets into what she doesn't like about that, I already am thinking of 20 things, just questions of... For one thing, there are lots of electrical appliances you would want to use in your bathroom. Your hair blower, hair dryer. You might have a little electric toothbrush.
If you want your electric toothbrush, it's going to be battery operated, so you could keep it charging in there, but you don't need to. You can have that charging anywhere. You can keep it in there. You charge them, once a fortnight or something, isn't it? Once a week, depending on the brand that you've got, how good it is. But other than any razor as well, if you've got an electric razor, they're rechargeable, so you don't need them plugged in. You wouldn't use it while it's plugged in. I suppose you can keep it stored in there. But there again, like I say, we do tend to have shaver outputs and stuff in the shower rooms, bathrooms.
You want to use in your bathroom, and as far as a safety hazard, it's never really been a hazard for me. If you, there's really not that much danger unless you're really, really not being careful. You have to be pretty reckless to splash some water from your bathtub onto the outlet.
Yeah, but what would you actually
want? Room.
Okay, aside from a hairdryer, which you can just use in any, use in your bedroom where you're sitting there if you're a girl with your makeup and stuff, then other than a hairdryer, what would you actually need to plug in the bathroom? I don't mean to recharge it if it's a shaver and stuff, because they can be plugged in. I mean, on a daily basis, what I don't know what you'd plug in there. Put it in the comment section what you normally plug in your bathroom.
Room, because they're usually placed strategically, and I don't know. This would actually really bother me. I can see why this made the list.
Well, when you've grown up with it your whole life, and then you don't have it, it's like...
Yeah, but that's quite a shock.
My electric toothbrush in the kitchen, and that feels very strange to me.
It's done that way to stop people from running normal stuff in the bathroom. But we're 240 volts, 250 volts out the mains. So when you get a shock from that, it really does give you a good shock. It can kill you, but it definitely throws you across the room. It gives you a pretty big wake-up call. And I know that in the US, you don't use that.
At McDonald's, when you have that ketchup dispenser and you push the pump thingy and you have the little cup of ketchup. In England, they have those for ketchup and some for barbecue sauce.
I like these.
I don't understand.
These are the title of this video is lesser known.
Is she saying that you don't have them in America?
She hit the nail on the head. These are really obscure, really lesser known. So you have your ketchup pump and you have barbecue pump. So sometimes you accidentally put barbecue sauce where you don't want it or something.
No. You get them little silly paper cups that if you squash your finger around on the inside, they will go into like a bigger kind of pouch. But they're just two big pump tubs, one for your ketchup, one for your barbecue. The separate tubs, it's to stop people from taking too much and not just filling a pocket full of plastic sachets, I think.
That's different. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is everywhere, but in the Southeast, a lot of the big grocery stores, the cashier will sit and scan your items, but you're in charge of bagging them, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But I used to work at Walmart back in Canada for like 3 months in between my first and second year at college. So I just needed a summer job, worked at Walmart, which is Asda. And I was expected to stand for my entire shift, the full 8-hour shift, whatever it was. And you scan and you bag.
Okay. Yeah.
No, you don't do that in
the UK. Reason, she's correct. Bagging groceries was like a whole thing in grocery stores, especially like 10 years ago. Very, very common.
They don't have a separate person do it.
In recent times, especially in the United States,
for bagging groceries, you might have the Scouts or someone like that come in as a charity event, and you'll have the kids on the end of the tills bagging up people's groceries for them, and then give them some type of tip. And I don't mean as in don't eat yellow snow and never trust a bull barber. I mean some sort of money incentive for what they've been doing. But know that if you go to any shop or supermarket, then the cashier usually will be sitting down. If it's a petrol station or something, they might be standing up, but a supermarket, they'll be sitting down at the till and they slide the things past to a bay at the end, and then you put them in the bag. But you do get some that insist on putting it in the bag for you, but you don't really want that because they're not going to stack it right. You don't want your bread at the bottom or your eggs at the bottom and then the heavy tins on top. And if they're just doing it because they've got to do it and they're trying to get it out of the way, they're just going to shove it in the bags. And so preserving the food as you're buying it, it's better to do it yourself. But maybe that's just a British thing, I don't know.
Bagging it for you, or sometimes there was a dedicated bagger who worked there. That has completely gone away. As a matter of fact, it's probably the same in England. They have a lot of the self-service cash registers where there's no cashier. Yeah. You just scan your items
quicker,
yourself
but they just,
and bag it yourself.
They're useless, aren't they? They
break
all the time.
If you're a social recluse like me, you really appreciate that. You don't have to interact
because you don't have
with
to
a single
interact
human
with the people.
being. You can go get your frozen ice cream sandwiches and check out alone and run home uninterrupted by
and it's
humanity.
Quicker as well, isn't it?
So when I came here, and all the cashiers at Asda are sitting on these nice comfy seats, and they don't have to bag the stuff.
Well, why should they need to stand up? That's just
awesome.
Bizarre.
Yeah, actually, I do like that. The workers should be able to sit down. In the United States, they were totally against letting cashiers sit down for the longest time. Still to this day.
Why?
Because they think it makes you look lazy. But come on. Why make them stand?
Yeah, but you're there for 8 hours, and if you're doing the job...
You don't gotta look good for me.
So, I mean, I had to stand and bag and scan, so I'm not bitter or anything. I am bitter. Another thing I noticed, most people in England drive standard cars. Everybody drives automatic. It's just...
a gear car.
Yeah. Oh,
stick
is
shift.
This true? Most
90%.
I'd say the majority of people don't even know how to drive standard in the United States.
No, it's the other way around in the UK. 90% of people will drive manual cars, stick shift as you would call them, which is even worse for people nowadays because they're 6 and 7 speed cars. So if you're struggling with the first 4 gears that you used to have, then you're really going to not like the new cars. But no, most people don't drive autos for 2 reasons. One, because manuals have always been more popular. There's just a lot more of them made than automatics. But also the economy. An automatic that does, say, 30 miles to the gallon, a manual version of the exact same car, same everything except for the gearbox, you'll get between 5 to 7 mile per gallon more. So on a tank of fuel, that'll add up quite quickly. Newer cars, not so much. On my car, it's both. I can knock it into manual and use the manual gears, or I can just leave it into auto. But if I run it in manual and I change the gears, it's kind of semi-auto. I just kind of nudge the gear stick to make it change the gear rather than using the clutch. But if I do it so it changes gear when I want it to, then it's a little bit less economical than if I leave the car just to do it in the auto version. But if I had a complete manual version of the gearbox, that would still overall be more economical. So it's down to economy, and they're just not as popular. But I'd say probably 10% of the population, usually the older population, because it's easier to drive.
States at this point, everything's automatic.
Automatic is just so easy. I don't understand. But then I'm sure people are going to be like, oh, that's not the real way to drive a car. You got to drive standard. And, good luck with that.
No, that's totally... You got to be a bit of a car head in the United States and go out of your way.
I'm not saying they've got to be a car head and stuff, but autos generally aren't as quick as manual. Not just because of the high revving and stuff, before the gear change. They just weren't as fast. Nowadays, it's not the same. My car's very, very quick on auto. I think it probably gets to the gears quicker than what I could manually change them. So I don't think it's so much nowadays. But historically, and especially up until the last decade pretty much, maybe the last 2 decades at the most, last 20 years, then manual much, much faster, more economical, so more popular.
Car. Everything's automatic.
Raccoons don't exist
in
the UK, but foxes do. I've never seen a fox before until I moved to England, and I see them, sadly, quite a lot.
This is so random. These topics are jumping all over the place, from grocery stores to cars.
She's in the southwest. There's more countryside in the southwest, I guess. Southwest of England towards Cornwall, Dorset.
So you trade out the raccoons for foxes. Actually sounds kind of nice. Raccoons are little monsters. They're cute from afar, but they will.
Yeah, a fox will kill your chickens if it gets in your garden, but other than that, you'll hear them. You'll hear them outside squealing away because they're really, really loud. But you very rarely see them, and when you do, they're just like, dogs, I guess, but not fierce. Well, they might be if you corner them, but generally not. They'll run away.
They will eat your garbage, kick over your can, and scratch you. Whereas foxes...
yeah, that's a little side note. I saw a video the other day, and it's all about UK bins are left out on the streets all the time. That's not the case. You take them out for bin collection day only. I can't remember where I saw it, and I know it's off topic, but he mentioned bins, and it reminded me. We don't always just leave them outside. Just on the collection day, which is once a week, then we take them out, they're collected, then we take them back in and put them around the back of your house out of sight. You don't want unsightly bins around everywhere. Either way, let's get back to the video.
At least they're pretty cool. I don't know if they can attack you or anything, but foxes are majestic.
If you corner them, they might.
Maybe it's just because we don't really have them that I think of them like that.
And, I can't put the rubbish out the night before because the foxes will rip it open. It's basically the UK's raccoon.
Yeah.
Oh. Immediately shreds my argument. So the foxes act like little raccoons. They just maybe look different. So you're basically trading your raccoon for a fox. Okay.
Yeah, but then just says you're right for leaving a bin bag on the street.
In Canada, because the raccoons get in it with their little fingers and their thumbs,
yes.
And it is not pleasant to pick up in the morning. Let me tell you. This is just a side note about the foxes. I'm sure all the British people are well aware. When two foxes love each other very much and decide to share that love together as a couple, it sounds like a woman is being brutalized in the street, like blood-curdling screams.
Screams?
Yeah.
Is this a common occurrence? And it's sounds like
she's not so much in the cities, but
this is the most obscure fact.
80% of the country. I don't know if I ever
needed to know. I don't know if I want to know. I can't take it back at this point. Okay.
Yeah, you can't unhear it.
So
that's
the first
for sure.
time I heard foxes mating, I thought somebody was dying, and I ran to my boyfriend. I was like, "Oh my god! What is happening? Something's happening in the street! Can you not hear this? This woman is screaming!"
Yeah,
and he's
foxes
like,
getting on. That's what's happening.
Those are the foxes. So don't let that freak you out.
What?
Just saying. Almost everybody in Okay, I can't generalize. Everybody I've heard referencing the United States calls it America.
Okay.
Which is interesting because I've never called it America till I moved to England.
You know, that's actually super useful for me to know, because I refer to it as sometimes America, sometimes the United States, and I've always wondered what people in the UK think about that and what they prefer to use and hear. And I did assume a lot.
Now, we might say, oh, you're from America. But if we're talking generally about the US, then we'll say the US, which is probably what you say. But we would also say the UK.
A lot of them used America, although there's like a North America, there's like a Central America, South America.
That reminds me. That's a very good point. Now, for Brits, this whole South America thing, that's really, really confusing, because what we see is things about politics and wars and Mexicans not allowed north into what you'd call North America. Well, if it's South America, then we kind of think, does that mean it's part of America, that it's just one big kind of continent called America? Is it all one big country but split into separate bits like we have with Wales and Scotland? I mean, we've got free travel between Wales and Scotland, so I guess not. So that whole Mexico downwards being called South America, that confuses us. Somebody explaining into the comments what that's about, that would be quite helpful.
There's a lot of Americas, so calling the United States America is kind of like a misnomer thing, but everyone does it, so there's no stopping it at this point. But I have always thought about that little discrepancy, so I just use both. Which is a little bit like the UK. Sounds like people in England use both as well.
So in Canada, I mean, we call it the States, we call it the US, we call it down south, but I've never heard really people call it America. So that's kind of interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know why.
Yeah, if we say America, if we say America, we mean North America. We wouldn't say America meaning Mexico or Colombia or something. If we was referring to that geographic area, then we'd say South America, knowing that it's in some way different to North America, but we're not really sure how it's different, because it is called America, isn't it still? Something America, South America.
That's what it's called. It's called the United States of America. So it makes sense to call it America, but we just don't. If you're living in England, chances are your mailbox is just like a slit on the door. In Canada, you'll either have a mailbox like on the exterior wall of your house by your front door, like a metal, usually.
Then you got to go outside to get your mail
in. Or you might have a mailbox at the end of your driveway if you're like more rural.
Yeah, at the end of your driveway. Why don't you just walk all the way to the post sorting office and collect it in person? I want it delivered to me, not to the end of the garden. I don't live at the bottom of the garden. I live in the house at the top. That's where I want the mail to go to.
And the post guy just like drives along and puts your mail in these mailboxes at the end of the driveway. But for some reason in England, they scrapped the mailbox idea. Who needs one? Let's just cut a hole in your door with a little flap.
Oh, mailbox.
Letterbox.
This thing.
No, it's a letterbox.
At the end of your driveway. Yeah.
No.
Little box on a stick. This is a classic American mailbox.
But then you've got to walk all the way to the end of your garden.
Oh.
Or drive to
website now.
Get your mail. And what happens if it's raining or...
There it is. That's a mailbox right there.
If it's delivered into your door, then when you get up in the morning, you can just collect your mail from the doorstep inside your nice warm house and then trundle off to the kitchen to get your coffee. Not have to go out to the bottom of your drive. Or what happens if you live in somewhere more spread out, like flats or something, so you got a communal mail centre downstairs?
Almost never in the United States. How does the mail person grab the mail you want them to ship out? Because in the mailbox, you just leave it in the mailbox. So I understand the slit in the door.
Now we have post office, which are located, because you used to be independent shops, but now you'll get them in a lot of main supermarkets, so you can take letters and parcels to them, and you pay for the stamps and stuff there and then, and they put it in with the main parcels. Or we've got the post box, which are painted red, the same as the telephone boxes. Although most of the telephone boxes have now got defibrillators in rather than telephones. The mail boxes are the same type of red. You just post your letters in there. Royal Mail goes round, empties them each day, twice a day usually, collects all your letters, sorts them, takes them to where they need to go, and posts it through their door, rather than leaving it at the end of their driveway.
The door as a means of receiving mail, but not sending. So I don't even understand that. But
well, how does the postman know? Hang on. He's saying that you just leave the stuff you want to post that you want to send to somebody else. You just stick it in your post box ready for the next day. Well, what happens if you don't collect your mail from the previous day? To then just get picked up, they think, oh, they want to post that, and they take it out and put it back into the system. Or is there markings on it so you know which is which?
I thought that was an old thing. The door slit mailbox. I thought that was an old thing. That's actually a modern English thing that you're still doing. Interesting.
Just shove the mail.
We're not going to walk down the garden to get the mail.
Sometimes this sounds like someone is breaking into your house, so don't freak out.
Yeah, you can go with a club
like
when they
I
let go of the
wouldn't be
box.
used to somebody coming that close to my door and interacting with it. It'd be different for sure. As common as that is in England, it'd be totally different for me.
Maybe. Lesser known thing about England, people tend to sign like texts or messages to people with an X or maybe multiple X's, but definitely at least just one. At first I thought this was like a flirty thing because it's like you're sending a kiss to someone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Girls might do that as friendship type stuff, not meaning literally.
If you put an X at the end of your message,
guys
an
wouldn't.
X means a kiss. Like you might put an X or X's if you're trying to be
you might
romantic
to your partner,
or
but
something.
not to just
This
an
is
independent
just
person.
common?
Girls might do,
in
but
England, does it mean something else?
Somebody like, excuse me? Pretty much everybody does it. I mean, we have a cleaning lady that comes sort of once a month, and she sends me X. You know, she'll be like, see you then, Alana, X. It's like,
yeah, I think she just means that just a general affectionate way, but that would be
quite
woman to woman.
like a polite thing to do, you know? I've had coworkers.
What does it mean? It just means
It means
bye.
exactly the same as what you think it means. It's just it's not meant literally.
X. What is it actually supposed to mean?
And almost like near strangers send them. So it's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I've also learned that medicine packaging, like painkillers or like the boxes with like liquid cough syrup or whatever, all that packaging has Braille on it.
Oh.
I think that's pretty cool. I don't think Canada does that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if we have the technology to do that, why wouldn't everywhere
all medicine in the UK does.
That should just be on everything. Yeah.
Not just medicine though, on things like bleach and stuff like that, then you usually get Braille on there as well. Obviously it depends on the brand. The cheaper brands or imported ones, maybe not. But usually, as standard, anything that's of a dangerous nature or that potentially dangerous nature, it'll usually have Braille on it. It's more of a recent thing, yeah, past decade. It's not always been done, but it is
like,
popular.
Why don't we do that? When using an escalator, make sure to stand on the right-hand side and walk on the left-hand side. Failure to do so is punishable by death.
There's no real protocol for that. And
well, it's kind of general courtesy.
Random. Sometimes people will do it. Most of the time, they just don't care. They're just in the way. No one's trying to walk up the escalator anyway. Everyone's just standing still, just riding it up. So, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, on the tube especially though, then there's so many people going from one platform to another. And just generally, if you want to just stand there and glide your way up, then that's fine. But other people might not want to. So that's where you generally stand to the side.
Yeah, it's not necessarily considered that rude. Oh, we have loading.
Basically. And with that, hopefully we've all learned something today, because every day is a school day. If you guys have any ideas of things that you'd like to see or for me to talk about, please leave a comment.
Okay. I think that's it. That is the lesser known things about England. Those are lesser known. My goodness, that did not disappoint. This was adventures and naps. And I liked that. I really did. Very specific. I like very specific. Oh, what do the people say in the comments? If we had external mailboxes, mail would get stolen. Well, Americans are
Yeah, that
pretty
as well, I guess, yeah.
wild.
And that's half and half, because a lot of people do have the metal mailboxes, letterboxes on the outside of the house, you know, like a metal lockbox type idea with a flap on the top to put your post in. And anybody that would want to put that somewhere other than on the front door, then they would be locked anyway. You would have a key locked to it. It wouldn't just be a flap like what you'd have in the US. So we could do it. It's just that, like I say, you'd have to go to the end of your driveway to get your mail. Or, I mean, most front doors tend to be somewhere close to the stairway leading upstairs in the house. So when you go in the front door, one side would lead up the stairs and the other side would lead through into the lower part of the house, generally. So in the mornings you would come downstairs and you'd walk pretty close to the front door, which means that you walk pretty close to where your mail is, waiting for you on the floor, assuming that you've got an early post.
And the mail does not get stolen very often here. So I feel like the UK would probably be alright. Although for the UK it'd be a new thing. So maybe all the crazy mail stealers would all pop out at once and it would be a problem. I don't know. What else? I love these sorts of things. Amusing. Yes, they are.
They are quite funny and quirky.
What else we got here? Liked it. Made me chuckle. I love hearing what other people think about England. It's so weird. We have different customs. Yes, it is weird. I like watching, or I'd like to watch.
Okay, I think he's pretty much at the end of it. That's it for this video. If there's anything that you think we've got wrong, then add it to the comment section. See you next time.